Welcome back to the Farm Show here on Westplex Talk 1045 B Block, our second segment. Today, we are going to focus on the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, that was held last week. Did you miss it? You didn't drive up 55? Why didn't you drive 55? Well, if you couldn't drive 55, you couldn't make your way up to Decatur. Don't worry, we got you covered. We're going to talk about a couple big announcements that came out from the Farm Progress Show, some product updates for both corn and soybean, big machinery update. We'll probably have time to run through the top Farm Progress new products that was listed by our friends, I should say, that were listed by our friends from the Farm Progress family of publications. They made their top picks. And if we get a chance, if we have time remaining in B Block, I think we should bring in my favorite rapper to talk a little bit about some of those diseases that are spreading around the Midwest. Okay, but let's get into innovation and what some of the big companies were talking about at the Farm Progress Show. We'll start close to home with a home team, so to speak, and that would be Bayer. I mean, technically, Bayer probably isn't the home team because they're based in Germany. But hey, their crop science part of their business is based right here in the St. Louis metro region. I'll point you to a piece from Wallace's Farmer, the great Gil Gullickson, profiled Bayer, two products that they have in the pipeline, and then I'll also mention a couple other products that they've been promoting at the Farm Progress Show. In his piece, Gil writes, "There hasn't been a new herbicide in the corn and soybean space commercialized since the HPPD inhibitors, Group 27, in around 25 years." Gil writes, "That's changing though. At the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, Brian Neighbor, who heads the North America and Australia-New Zealand region for Bayer Crop Science, discussed a new herbicide with a site of action that's truly new. In fact, it's so new that it hasn't even been assigned a herbicide group number." Gil goes on to explain that the new herbicide is called icafolin. Now, if the name sounds familiar, if you listened to our show a few weeks ago, Bayer CEO Bill Anderson actually mentioned icafolin on the company's media call, which was held immediately after its earnings call at the beginning of August. Icafolin is a post-emerge product that Bayer has developed for several crops, including soybeans. Gil quotes Brian Neighbor as saying he expects it to be commercialized in the next 4 to 5 years in the United States. Neighbor says, "Since it's a completely new mode of action, you see a completely different set of visual symptomology about how it kills and controls the weed." Now, Gil goes on to say, Bayer scientists observe treated weeds becoming, quote, "frozen," unquote, in the fields, meaning they stop competing with crops for water, nutrients, and sunlight. However, the dead weeds remain in the field longer because they largely maintain their structure. This creates a mulch layer that helps prevent erosion and trap moisture in the soil, say Bayer officials. By providing effective weed control, it reduces the need for tillage and supports regenerative practices that can improve soil health, they say. Gil writes, Bayer is also planning to bring a new Group 12 herbicide to market, diflufenican herbicide, which will be marketed under the brand name Convintro, will be a soybean burn down and pre-emergence product primarily aimed at water hemp and palmer amaranth. It will also be a weed control tool for corn, say Bayer officials. Diflufenican is not a new chemistry, Gil reports, as it has been used for years in Europe to manage broadleaf weeds in crops such as lentils and winter cereals. However, it will be new to the United States. Gil quotes Bayer as saying they expect this chemistry to be available to U.S. farmers in 2026, pending regulatory approval. Now, you may have heard the name a few years ago because based on a social media search I did, around 2021, Bayer was hinting at the introduction of this in the United States in the mid part of the decade. Some social media reports even say that Bayer was hoping to get it approved by 2024. But we know the way that regulatory approval processes work. You've seen it as a grower before, and you know that usually EPA approval doesn't exactly move quickly for a new product. Bayer at the Farm Progress Show also promoted a couple other hallmark or keystone type products. They spent a lot of time and energy talking about their Preceon corn system. You probably know that as short corn. Don't you dare call it midget corn or dwarf corn. It's short corn, Preceon corn. Bayer expects Preceon corn to be available for growers in the 2027 growing season. Bayer also continues to make a big push for its likely 2027 introduction of Viconic soybeans. Viconic beans will be tolerant to glyphosate, dicamba, glufosinate, mesotrione, and 2,4-D. And again, both of these new both of these new products, Preceon corn and Viconic soybeans, are expected to be introduced for the 2027 growing season. But hey, Bayer wasn't the only big company talking about next generation soybean seeds. No, Syngenta and MS Technologies, you might know them as Mershman Seed, announced a brand new soybean trait stack, announced it at the Farm Progress Show. I'll read you a little bit from their press release. This is from last Wednesday, August 27th. MS Technologies, LLC, and Syngenta announced plans today to launch a groundbreaking herbicide-tolerant soybean trait stack with broad commercial availability expected in 2029, pending regulatory approvals. This new trait stack will be marketed by Syngenta seed brands, Stein Seed Company, and others. Built on the proven foundation of the Enlist E3 soybean event, this innovative trait technology will deliver unmatched herbicide flexibility, providing farmers tolerance to more active ingredients than any soybean trait in the industry, including glyphosate, glufosinate, 2,4-D choline, and multiple HPPD inhibitors. The release goes on to say, featuring industry-leading HPPD inhibitor tolerance, the trait technology will provide tolerance to a wide range of HPPD inhibitor chemistries. This advancement gives farmers expanded weed control options and will allow use of HPPD inhibitor herbicides that have been a proven and effective strategy in corn, giving farmers more flexibility in early season weed control, especially when planting delays or seed changes occur. The release quotes Jared Benson. He's head of soybean portfolio strategy at Syngenta. He says, this new technology represents the future of weed control flexibility in soybeans. By pairing broad spectrum herbicide tolerance with Syngenta's proven leadership in soybean genetics and crop protection innovation, this new soybean trait stack will give farmers a powerful tool to manage resistant weeds, reduce injury risk, and simplify weed control across their operations. The release says soybean farmers across the U.S. face herbicide resistance, inconsistent early control, and increasingly complex programs. This trait stack directly addresses these concerns by offering broad spectrum tolerance to more active ingredients than any soybean trait in the market, early season weed control options with proven HPPD inhibitor chemistries used successfully in corn, and multiple modes of action to help lengthen the durability of active ingredients, address a broader weed spectrum, and establish a robust residual program. Finally, the release quotes Joe Mershman, president of MS Technologies. He says, since the beginning, MS Technologies has been focused on developing the industry's highest performing soybean genetics. This collaboration builds on what MS Technologies started, combining the FG72 trait, formerly marketed as GT27, stacked with the Enlist E3 event will provide soybean growers with a robust and highly flexible weed control solution. The companies say, upon regulatory approval, Syngenta plans to release commercial varieties through the Golden Harvest and NK Seed brands, as well through the Greenleaf Genetics licensing brand. MS Technologies LLC plans to release commercial varieties through Stein Seed Company, Mershman Seeds, and Latham High-Tech Seeds, and will also license the technology through Peterson Genetics. And let's not forget some equipment news coming out of AGCO. AGCO announced the launch of the Fendt 1000 Vario Gen 4 tractor and the Fendt Optimum Planter. Announced both of those in Decatur last week. The Fendt 1000 series has long been recognized for delivering tremendous productivity and versatility in high horsepower applications, the company says. That legacy continues with the introduction of the Fendt 1000 Vario Gen 4. With new, bold styling, this next generation features a modern, commanding look that stands out in the field. New optional interior comforts include foot pegs, an added cool box, and cabin dust extraction for an improved operator experience. The updated line will be available in 4 models: 1040, 1044, 1048, and 1050, ranging from 426 horsepower up to 550 horsepower for the most demanding tillage, heavy-duty seating, and transport work. Alongside the Gen 4 launch, Fendt is debuting its first stack-fold planting system, the Fendt Optimum Planter, designed to bring planting precision, capacity, and flexibility to operations with stack-fold planters. The Optimum combines transport efficiency with the advanced agronomic features farmers have come to expect from Fendt's Momentum line. You can find videos of these products, these new products in action, if you go to the Fendt YouTube page. Just look up Fendt 1000 series on YouTube and you'll find videos. You'll also find some pretty cool videos from the folks at the Farm Progress organization demonstrating these pieces of equipment. And hey, speaking of the good folks at Farm Progress Show, they did something this year that they do every year. After the Farm Progress Show, they list their very favorite products that they saw that particular year. Now, this particular piece was compiled by Andy Castillo. He's the editor of Farm Equipment and Machinery at Farm Progress. Andy himself says Carbon Robotics Laser Weeder leverages artificial intelligence and machine learning to target weeds in real time and zap them with lasers. Todd Fischette of Western Farm Press. He names Interplant's Crop Voice. He says it can detect disease early. Engineered soybean seeds that give off fluorescent proteins when infected are deployed among sentinel plants, acting as biological sensors. The signals can be detected by satellites, drones, and other sensors. Ava Spleer from Prairie Farmer. Her favorite new product comes from Precision Planting, and it's called Symphony Vision. It's a vision-based chemical spraying technology. It uses cameras mounted on a sprayer boom to detect weeds and adjust application rates accordingly in real time. The system can be retrofitted across most brands, including John Deere, Case IH, Fendt, Massey Ferguson, and others. And we'll end with Gil Gullickson himself from Wallace's Farmer. He says Polaris's new 2026 Ranger 500 is a mid-size side-by-side that starts at $9,999. Now we're running up against the end of the segment, so I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger there. Go to farmprogress.com. You can hear the rest of what Gil and the team from Farm Progress have to say about their very favorite products. Hey, so much talk over the last few weeks, once again, about tar spot, southern rust, even soybean cyst nematode. It reminds me of something we talked about on the first episode. Good old Mindy Ward, the editor of Missouri Ruralist, had a fantastic piece quoting Dr. Mandy Bish, talking about, well, really, all of those topics. Soybean cyst nematode, tar spot, southern rust. And then it made me think, maybe this time of year, we should bring in my favorite new rapper, Alpha Aflatoxin, to talk about those very same topics. As a reminder to the FCC, the University of Missouri Extension Specialist last name is Bish, B-I-S-H. We're not saying a bad word here. We're paying homage to Dr. Mandy Bish. Let's hear what Alpha Aflatoxin has to say about these diseases and these pests ravaging our crops. Hit it.
Yeah. Bish, please. Yeah. Bish, please. Tar spot is a serious disease. It's a problem till you pass on 3. Control it now or it'll have you on your knees. Bish, please. Gasoline to R3, that's when you gotta spray. Your girl calls me Alpha, but she wants to roll in my hay. Check my sprayer, do my scouting, so on and so forth. Call up Kim and Kanye, cause something's creeping north. Lesions on the leaves, lodging in the stalks. Southern brush should stay in Kansas, cause forget a Jayhawk. Bish, please. Tar spot is a serious disease. It's a problem till you past R3. Control it now or it'll have you on your knees. Bish, please. Then I turned on an Ag Day episode. Guess what's poppin'? Slugging cyst nematode. I ain't gonna lie, it's causing apprehension. Mandy says get a soil test, reach out to extension. I rotate to Peking and I ain't talking duck. Stop doing corn on corn cause my yields got clucked. My yields stay high cause my scouting's so thorough. Gotta text your girl back cause she wants me in her furrow. Bish, please. Tar spot is a serious disease. It's a problem till you past R3. Control it now or it'll have you on your knees. Bish, please. Bish, please. Tar spot is a serious disease. It's a problem till you past R3. Control it now or it'll have you on your knees. Bish, please.